What's up, Wilmington? How are you guys? Hope you're well. It's me, Chris. I'm back in the cellar. Another week, another lovely lineup of wines here at Second Glass. We are off to ITALIA, which, I'm always excited to talk about. Extra excited because I was just there not long ago. Yes, I feel very fortunate. Yes, I am going to talk about it because it was amazing and beautiful and all the things you ever wanted it to be, or at least I ever wanted it to be. So extra excited to talk about Italian wine, which is saying something because I'm always excited about it. But this week on the flight, we've got a couple of whites, and we're finishing off with a really delightful red from a producer I did get to go see, which is super fun for me. So we're going to kick it off in Alto Piemonte with Ioppa. This is their Grato Vino Bianco, so it's a blend of Erbaluce and Timorasso primarily. And then we're going to go over to Friuli Venezia, to the Collio, to see Venica, our good friends, Venica for their Pinot Grigio Jesera, a staple and absolute favorite. Then round it out with Fattoria di Sammontana's Chianti from Tuscany. Super fun stuff, great family. So let's do this, kick it off. Italy, love it. Who doesn't love it? You should love it. If you don't love it, then I don't know, I guess you love something else, and that's okay too. But you're missing out. So Ioppa, based in Alto Piemonte. So where is that exactly? So we are all the way north of the Barolo-Barbaresco region. So we're basically, you've got Piedmont, kind of, let's see, we'll do it this way. So Piedmont kind of sits over here. You got France, and then you got like Switzerland up here. And then over to the left, you've got Lombardy, where Milan is. And then you keep going and you go further east and everything. So Alto Piemonte is basically all the way up at the top, close to the Swiss border. And you can actually, from this winery, if you stand there, you can look out across the vineyards and you can see like the Swiss Alps in the background. So high elevation, alpine, cool wine growing region. Very similar grape varieties to Barolo and Barbaresco in Piedmont, because Alto just means high, tall, high Piedmont. But you also have a fair amount of white grapes here. There's a pretty long tradition of making sparkling wine from Erbaluce, which is one of the primary grapes in this, and then Timorasso, which has had having a bit of a moment, and it continues to have a moment, making really wonderful wines. And this is like a crisp, fresh, very orchard fruit driven, like medium palate, like white wine that is so fun to drink. I mean, on the nose, it is apples and pears all day long. That is all it's telling me, and that is a good thing. Like I said, that medium palate, medium bodied texture on the palate, little bit of crispness, that classic little bit of like complex bitter, like bitter is the right word, but people think of it as something bad. It's this like almost like citrus pith kind of thing going on that gives us this complexity and keeps it from being too like vibrant. It's a perfect wine for right now where it's sunny, it's gorgeous, it's sort of warm, then it's cold, then it's warm, then it's cold. We're not really sure what's going on. Welcome to spring in Wilmington. Regardless, the wine is beautiful, the people are beautiful. It's a win-win all around. Again, that is Ioppa Grato, their Vino Bianco. All right, off to house favorite, personal favorite. We featured it several times. This is Venica's Pinot Grigio, the Jesera from the Jesera vineyard. 100% Pinot Grigio, but it is done on the skins a little bit. So you get that really beautiful kind of like, I don't know, I mean, it's coppery because it's, we'll get to that in a second, but I mean, I'd almost call it like peach skin in color. Like it's very peachy in color. So Pinot Grigio, or Pinot Gris, as it's called in France, is referred to that because the skins are not green. They're actually, it says gray, gris in French is gray, but means they're colored. So they actually have a varying color between like slightly peachy pink to even robustly like almost borderline red, but still technically Pinot Gris, Pinot Grigio. Long history in this region of doing Ramato styles. Ramato just means copper. So where they leave it on the skins and it extracts a little bit of that color to give it this just tinge of color, but it doesn't really pull the structure over. So this is like that in between before we quite get to what I would call orange wine. Now I've talked about this before. I'm not going down this rabbit hole because, well, you're not actually here for us to have a conversation. So you don't even hear me ramble about it. But basically, orange wine to me has more has tannic structure like a red wine, and this is like slight skin contact, but there's no real tannic structure. So what you get is this elevated perfume of beautiful aromas and like a really pretty mouthfeel and this minerality that you get from the grape skins. Because we have to remember that a lot of flavor and a lot of aromatics are held in the skins, and most white wine is pressed directly off the skins. So you oftentimes kind of miss out on that. So this kind of like splits the gap. It brings some of that in there, but without going over the top. I get stone fruits a little bit. I mean, honestly, there's a little bit of a peach thing going on. A little citrus, really gorgeous minerality here. Vibrant, clean. Wow. I actually think it's a little more refreshing than the Ioppa in many ways. There's just a little more oomph in the background, which is why I put it in the middle instead of at the beginning. Whereas the Ioppa feels like a little like just easygoing, easy drinking, just a lovely starter wine. It's great with a meal. It's great without a meal. This wine is a little more serious and kind of makes more sense in the middle of our flight here. Please forgive me, I am suffering from the yellow snow that we're having here. So my allergies are really great and it's like drying out my throat. Regardless, amazing Pinot Grigio. And if you don't think you like Pinot Grigio, you need to have this because it is unlike most Pinot Grigios on the market in the best way possible. Again, Venica, Jesera from the Colio. Such good stuff. All right. Off to the last wine of the flight, Fattoria di Sammontana. These guys are based about 30 minutes outside Florence, within the Chianti, the Chianti DOCG, not within Chianti Classico. So just quickly, Chianti Classico is the historic area of Chianti production. It's referred to as Chianti Classico. A long time ago, they expanded the Chianti region and decided that they would rename the original area that was always just referred to as Chianti to Chianti Classico, because it's the original, and everything else was just Chianti. Wildly confusing. It's crazy. Everyone thinks it's nuts. But that's Italy for you. So these guys are located super close to Florence, so kind of right on the border of, not too far from the Chianti Classico border. To be honest, I don't remember exactly how the map breaks down, but they're not far away. Anyways, really historic estate. It was actually a medieval village, and the family purchased this village where there's still a church, and they have the wine production facility, and they have a little tasting room, and then there's a handful of houses, and there was actually a little like fornace, which is like a furnace. So it was actually a place that made bricks, which was really cool. I was there and I got to learn all these things. And they actually, some of the last work the furnace did before they sold it, it's now an event space, was to like basically made bricks to help restructure a lot of the ancient buildings within Florence, which is super interesting and fascinating. So like old school, very cool, hardy stuff. Anyways, lovely family. They own all of their vineyards. They farm organic and biodynamically. They work very hard and they make lovely wines. And this is one of those cases where like, it's really showcasing like that just because they're not in Chianti Classico does not mean they can't make great Sangiovese. You know, Chianti Classico has its own level and it is considered the best and it has all the prestige and it deserves that. But some of these parts where they expanded to are capable of making really great wines. Case in point, Sammontana. To me, this is just telltale classic Tuscan Sangiovese. And we're back. It's dusty red cherries, really beautiful tannic structure, but not overwhelming. A little bit of like dried herbs, just an easygoing every day. I want some pizza. I want some roast pork. I want some pasta kind of Sangiovese. So good. Thank you guys for watching. Please come out, support. Hopefully you don't suffer from the yellow snow. You can sit outside on the patio. It is gorgeous outside. Have some flights, have some delicious bites. I think they've got, flights and bites menu looking pretty great. I'm pretty sure the house-made chicken liver pate would be amazing with this. There's a classic little Tuscan thing going on there. But be good, be friendly, be safe. I'll see you next week.